live? Hold on. Going live now.
Yeah.
Hello and welcome to the Hornet Talk podcast. This is the World Cup predictions live stream. The World Cup's been a long time in the making, so we are so glad to be with you this evening. So I'm going to introduce you to my fantastic co-hosting team for the evening and for the start of our World Cup coverage. So we have Owen Miles, who is the newest member of the Hornet Talk and making his debut this evening. We have channel regular Harry Phillips and brilliant co-host George Frakish. It's brilliant to have you all with us today. So the predictions that we are going to be going through today are the following. As we can tell, Harry is very, very excited to get this up and running. So we're going to start with who do we think is going to be the best international Hornet? Who's going to be the exit of the tournament? The most underwhelming team? The dark horse? What's your World Cup hot take? England's World Cup finish? Players to watch out for at this year's World Cup? The Golden Boot winner? The player of the tournament? The World Cup finalists? And most importantly, the World Cup winner. So before we get started, good evening, Owen. How are you?
All right. This summer's World Cup is big in the making. It's obviously our first summer World Cup since 2018, obviously with Qatar being in November. So really good to sort of come on here, do these predictions, and can't wait for this summer. Hopefully see some incredible football, and we'll look to see who could get their name on the trophy come July.
It's going to be a really, really interesting World Cup. There's obviously been a lot of controversy coming into the World Cup with it being in America. I'm sure this summer is going to be one hell of a tournament. But please make sure to follow along here on the Hornet Talk, and we will have everything for you across the World Cup. It is truly going to be an unforgettable tournament this summer. So without further ado, let's get started with our first prediction of this year's World Cup. Now, I'm going to start with Watford fan here, Owen, that have gone to the World Cup are Nestori Irankunda, Edo Kayembe, and Egil Selvik. Who do you think, from the limited research that you may have done, who do you think is going to be the most impressive international Hornet this summer?
Well, like I said, I've done a little bit of research, but I have an inkling that Kimembe is going to have, or is that how you say it? I think he's going to have a tournament. I think it's DR Congo he plays for, if I'm correct, right? And I think DR Congo. I think they've got a very interesting group themselves. I think that a team that I believe could go and do something at this tournament, and I think he could be an integral part to DR Congo going on a run. Like you say, I think it's Congo's first World Cup since I believe 2006. So, and I think they could get out the groups. So I think that's obviously will be an achievement for Congo and for Kimembe himself.
Yeah, I mean, there's no surprise that I am no Kayembe fan, so it's no shock to anyone that for me he is not going to be the most impressive this summer. Now, the player that I've picked, I've scrutinized a lot, but looking at the three that we've got, he's the best. He's the best out of the three, even though I don't want him at Watford into next season. So my best international Hornet for the World Cup, my first prediction will be Nestori Irankunda for Australia. I think him and Motore are a very, very interesting partnership. A really, really good understanding of both of them on and off the pitch. So I think that would really excel Irankunda. But I have to say, if he scores one World Cup goal, just the one, then we're going to start hearing money signs. So it's a big, big tournament for him. And I think it's going to determine whether he stays and goes this summer. Now I am going to cross to George Frakish. So who have you got as your predicted most impressive Hornet this summer at the World Cup?
Kane, you're going to absolutely love this, Mr. Edo Kayembe, because I think he'll get quite a few minutes with the Congo in this World Cup. I'm not 100% sure who they've got in their group, but obviously against Denmark last Wednesday, he did get 55 minutes and a football rating of 7.0. So I think he's guaranteed at least 90 minutes in the World Cup, and hopefully DRC will get to play England and Morocco in the World Cup, which will be a lovely sight to see.
Well, I really am not a fan of Kayembe, so I hope that he doesn't do well this World Cup. But I just unfortunately, I think he might have an okay tournament, but I'm hoping Nestri absolutely wipes the floor with him, especially if they play against each other. Do us a favour and knock DR Congo out. I am going to go to our resident biggest England fan, Harry Phillips. Harry, who do you think is going to be the best international Hornet at the World Cup this summer?
I mean, I'd love to jump on the bandwagon with Edo Kayembe, but unfortunately, I will have to be true to myself, and I will be going with Nestroy Irankunda. I'm just looking at his group at the moment, and Paraguay, USA, and Turkey. It's not the strongest group in the world, and I can see him getting goals or assists against those weaker oppositions. And I can see him flourishing, again, as you said, with Motore up front, and him pursuing, hopefully, his value increasing and the possibility of us selling him on, which I wouldn't like to do, but according to Caden's end of the year predictions from Watford, he would love to. So yes, I'll be going with Nestroy Irankunda.
Yeah, I think Nestri is a kind of. I think it's an obvious pick out of the three. I just don't think Kayembe is going to have hopefully not going to have a very good tournament. And Selvin going to play. So I think Nestri's kind of the obvious one out of the bunch. I am going to cross to Liam. Liam, are you there? Can you hear us? I know you've been having some. Liam, are you there? I think we might be having problems on Liam's end, so we will carry on and we will bring Liam in as of when he is ready.
Hello.
So we're going to go on to. Oh, hello. Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Brilliant.
You can't see me,
Brilliant.
But you can hear me. I don't know what's going on with my camera tonight.
Got John Cena.
That's all
Laptop's
good.
having a meltdown today.
So then, who do you think is going to be the best international Hornet this summer? Even though, unfortunately, I think I know the way you're going to go.
I mean, I want to, in my heart, I want to say Edo Kayembe because you know how much I love him, but it's got to be Irankunda. I think there's only one answer. He's got the potential to do so well with Australia, given that he's done wonders with us this season. I feel like world's biggest stage on the World Cup is his chance to shine, and I do feel like he'll do it well. I'm not to say that Edo Kayembe is going to do bad because I do think he'll do well with Congo, and he'll be in the midfield, much to your despite, Caden. He'll start in the midfield, but no, I'd have to say it's got to be Irankunda. I think he got man of the match in their recent warm-up game against Switzerland, so that's good to see. So he's definitely developing, and I do think that in my head there's only one answer, and it's got to be Irankunda.
Yeah, I think Irankunda's the obvious answer to the three, as I said. Moving on then to arguably one of the biggest categories we've got this evening. The shock exit. Owen, I'm going to start with you on this one. Who do you think is going to be knocked out? Normally one of the big countries. Who do you think it's going to be?
This is a big country, but considering how well they've done over the previous World Cups, I've gone for Croatia. They, obviously, previous two tournaments, they finished third and second, respectively. Obviously, that 2018, unfortunately, knocked out England, and then got to semis back in 2022. But this squad is, in my opinion, much worse than previous squads. I had a toss-up, really, for me, between Croatia and Brazil. But I might be a bit biased between Brazil for me, as someone who's going to be looking at Scotland this World Cup as well. I don't think Brazil as good as a lot of people say they are, especially even if Carlo Ancelotti's in charge. But for Croatia, other than, in my opinion, probably either Vuskovic or Guardiola, the rest of the team compared to the last two tournaments are worse. You've still got the likes of Ivan Perisic and Modric, still there at the ages of 40 and 37, respectively. And still got the likes of Kramaric at 34. And the youngster or the players that are a bit younger coming through just aren't as good as the players that came through back in 2018, 2022. A lot of them playing for your American sides, which could hand up in this tournament, maybe. That they know they know a lot of the pitches and they know a lot of the humidity that this tournament could provide for the likes of Orlando City and Dallas, a couple of the strikers. But yeah, I just don't think the team is as strong, and I actually think they'll be out in the groups because, in my opinion, I think they'll lose to both England and Ghana, and I have a sneaky suspicion they might even drop points against Panama.
Well, that's an interesting one. For me, I'm going to go with Germany. I don't think that they're going to do as well as people have been saying. I mean, yes, I'm not denying the fact that they've got a lot of talent within their squad. They've got the likes of some Florian Wirtz, but I just don't think they're going to be very, very good at all. They'll get out the group. They won't win the group. They'll come second, but I think their road ends very early on, and they may get knocked out in that round of 32. The round of 32 this time is going to be very, very unforgiving, and we're going to see a lot of big countries knocked out at that stage of the tournament. So yeah, I've gone with Germany. I can see your point about Croatia, that they've got an aging squad and things like that. I think they might just pull through, potentially win their group. But yeah, I've gone with Germany as the shock exit in the round of 32. George, who is your shock exit for the World Cup?
Well, for me personally, I know all of you guys will hate this. I have a small feeling that England are going to get knocked out in the round of 32. I don't know why. I just have that feeling in the back of my mind that, I don't know, like Jordan Pickford will have an absolute stinker in the groups and he won't be able to redeem himself in the knockouts. I think, yeah. I know Harry loves that one, but I don't think England will get that far.
Well, we are going to go over to Harry next. Harry, who's your shock exit for this World Cup?
I had a pick before, but I think I'm going to change mine now. And my shock exit will be last year's semi-finalists, Morocco. And I feel like they could bow out into the group against... They got, to be fair, they have a quite tough group. They've got Brazil and they got Scotland. I mean, Haiti's a given win. But apart from that, I could see Morocco getting knocked out in the round of 32 or even the round of 16. And that would be a shock, as last World Cup they did so well, beating the likes of Portugal. And so Morocco would be my shock. And also, they didn't pick Mama or Loser, which really, really annoyed me. So that Morocco would be my shock exit. No bias at all.
That would certainly be a shock exit. I'll be discussing Morocco a bit later on in this episode. I just think they're going to be too strong to get knocked out early. But yeah, I think that's more of a get back at George. But yeah, fair enough. Liam, to you then. Who's your shock exit for this World Cup?
Well, before I do that, I'm going to apologise about my camera. I'm going to try and get it sorted for soon. But getting into it, I've gone controversial here, but I'm sort of feeling like the reigning champions could be out early. Now, Argentina, this is completely rogue. I've gone completely rogue. I'm not going to follow maybe Harry and George's route going down in spite, but I feel like Argentina could fall early, but not too early, around the quarterfinals, semi-finals. I think there's a lot of experienced players, which on one hand is good, but however, I feel like Argentina aren't as strong as they were back in 2022 when they won the World Cup. I think there's a lot of old heads in that team. Although I do think that they will do well as well, but I just don't think that they'll do as well as some people expected. I think they'll exit either quarters or around the 16, but I think they do have some good players like Messi, McAllister, but I just think they're going to be out early. I don't know why this suspicion sneaks into my head, but I just worry that they're going to. Well, I don't worry actually because it's a bit less competition for England, but I just think they're going to slip out early.
I can't see it, to be honest, but anything can happen at the World Cup. Yeah, no matter what country you are, you're not safe from being knocked out. Yeah, moving on then. Most underwhelming team at the World Cup. Now, for me, I'm going to go with Brazil. Now, this could be just to get back because they didn't pick João Pedro, but I don't think they're going to be very good. And I'm going to go back to the Pedro thing. So they've taken Neymar, who, is injury prone, but they don't want to take Chelsea's Player of the Season, Pedro. Obviously, former one, so we got that connection. But I just don't think that they're going to do very well. Yes, they've got Carlo Ancelotti, their coach, but I don't see them get into like the quarters and the semi-finals and all of that. We could see them out in the round of 16, and it'll be done and dusted from there, which would be disappointing to see because for a lot of people they want to see Brazil do well. Because of the players that they've got. Their players are fantastic. Owen, who do you think is going to be the most underwhelming team at this World Cup?
I think, like I said with Brazil, I think especially you're looking at some of the players they've brought in. That isn't my pick, and I think I agree with you that I don't think they're going to do well. What a lot of people said, but I think the reason why they brought in Neymar instead of João Pedro is because Ancelotti knows if they didn't pick Neymar and they didn't go far, that would be the reason why. That's what the fans and the press in Brazil would have gone for, because Neymar's a god there. But for me, I'm going to go with France. This is Didier Deschamps' final tournament. We've saw at the Euros. Yes, they got to the semi-finals, pretty much like England. They were very underwhelming. Didn't score a goal from open play for pretty much the entire tournament. I think it ended up being one or two. And I think the sort of formation and the sort of way that Didier Deschamps plays doesn't fit, I think, what this team that France have got will be able to help. I mean, for me, they have got some incredible players. You're looking at the up top, especially Desiree Doué, Bradley Barcola, Michael Olise, Kylian Mbappe, Ousmane Dembele, and even maybe midfield with Cherki. But in my opinion, the defence also is not as good as it once was. You're looking at the keepers. The best player there is Mike Magnan, who, in my eyes, isn't really a top keeper. And yeah, in defence, you've got Konate, who's had pretty much a terrible season at Liverpool, which has now got him out. It looks like he's going to go to Real Madrid. Upamecano is probably the best player of that bunch, maybe Koundé as well, and you've got Saliba. But for me, I'm not really convinced by France. I can see him getting through, but I don't see him getting past the quarterfinals.
Yeah, I think. Look, as I said, there's always a possibility for anything to happen at the World Cup. I always just think, though, France always seem to be the team that kind of pull through, no matter how they may or may not be. They always just seem to pull through, and they know how to roll in a World Cup. But yeah, I mean, it could turn out to be a very, very good shout from yourself. And when we look back at this after the World Cup, you could very much be spot on there. George, so what are your thoughts? Who's going to be the most underwhelming team this World Cup?
Not gonna lie, I'm gonna say Brazil again. I personally think it's a bit of bias because they didn't choose João Pedro, but Brazil are going to get grouped and Morocco are going to drive the autobus back to the airport for them, because I think João Pedro would be a good player for them, and I think Neymar, obviously he's already injured, and João Pedro, he proven in the Premier League, and Neymar has already been done over.
Well, as Owen said, for Brazil, Neymar's like a god. So that's the only reason I can think of as to why they've taken Neymar over Pedro, considering Pedro's quality. Yeah, a lot of people won't accept Pedro and not think he's a fantastic player, even though he is absolutely fantastic. Harry, who's going to be the most underwhelming team at this World Cup?
Though I would say Brazil, but I absolutely love Brazil and love watching them play. And if you can't tell, I like Neymar a lot as well. But I'm going to go with the United States of America. And this is more from a personal perspective. My dad's got a mate, and he talks to his mate. He goes, "Oh, I've got semi-final tickets if the USA get there." And my dad's like, "What are you like? The US are going to get like." People here are so unrealistic with their predictions for the United States in this World Cup, and it will be a humbling experience to watch them bow out, I think, in the round of 16, which would be good for America, but I can't see them get much further than that. And I love US to do well, but I just can't see it happening, unfortunately. They will be my underwhelming team of the tournament. But I'll shush now and let Liam speak.
Liam, over to you. Who do you think is going to be the most underwhelming team at this World Cup?
Well, I've gone down a different route. I wanted to go Brazil out of spite, I have to say, again, for João Pedro, as you lads have said. But for some reason, I've gone Germany. Now, this is a weird one because they've got a lot of top players. I do think Jamal Musiala will do well at the World Cup. Florian Wirtz, obviously, not performed the highest at Liverpool this season, but not done terribly either. But I do think that Germany are going to struggle. I just have that instinct that they're going to struggle. Not to say that they couldn't go to the final and win it. I'm just thinking, it just seems to me that this isn't going to be their year to do well in this tournament. I think we'll get past them, maybe play them in the quarterfinals and beat them. Or if we can, I don't know. I don't know how the draw works this time. I've completely forgotten how it works. But no, I just think Germany are going to be the most underwhelming. I just don't think they look up to it at the minute in some way. But then again, anything could happen. But no, I'm going to go Germany for my most underwhelming team.
Yeah, apart from Brazil, I totally agree with you. I think Germany are out quite early compared to what some people are saying. I've heard some people saying they're going to get to the final, which I just think is absolutely ludicrous. Moving on then. Now we're going to talk about the dark horse of the World Cup. Now, let's get controversial here. So, me and my bright takes again. Brace yourselves. Right. I've got two. Now, one of them is really out there. The other one I think people are expecting. So the one I think people are expecting is Turkey. I think Turkey could do well. And brace yourselves for this. I think Haiti could do quite well at this World Cup. First ever World Cup. I think they may beat Scotland. And if they play their cards right, if they sit in a 5-back, then they could get a draw against Brazil or Morocco. And we know that 4 points gets you through on third place. And I think Scotland will then get knocked out. So I'm going to go Haiti and Turkey here. Now, I know, Owen, you're a Scot, so you're not going to have liked that. But, Owen, what do you think? Who is the World Cup dark horse?
Well, I didn't say Scotland just because I get called biased. I'm half Scottish, half English, but obviously there's some Scottish in this World Cup and with this thing. And England, well, we'll split both. But I think for me, I've got two as well. One of them is Norway. Erling Haaland. The last time he played at an international tournament, yes, it was a youth one. Under 20 World Cup, he scored 9 goals in one game. And I think he's still averaging at above a goal a game at international tournament at international level. And I think he's going to him and Odegaard especially. I think he's going to get Norway, especially out of the group, and I could see him getting to the round of 16. But my big surprise to go really deep into the tournament is Uruguay. They've got Marcelo Bielsa as head coach. Obviously, we know him back at Leeds, but he's really got Uruguay firing, and especially Darwin Núñez. Darwin Núñez, obviously, Prem fans or English fans will know him a lot. Liverpool wasn't particularly the best, maybe at scoring, but he did give a lot of defenders a hard time. But Bielsa has really sort of because I try and watch a lot of South American football. He has really got Núñez into a brilliant striker, and I could see him having a terrific tournament. And especially as it looks like he's also really looking for a move with Al Hilal ripping up his contract. So we could see a firing Darwin Núñez looking for a move that could propel Uruguay to maybe even a 5th star on their badge.
Well, do you know what? I kind of agree. Obviously, my takes were Turkey and Haiti, but I think Uruguay is a very, very good shout. As you say, Darwin Núñez. I think if Liverpool, are struggling to get players in, they should take Darwin Núñez back because he is now firing. But it's just whether he's going to be up to the standard of the Premier League. George, who are your dark horses for this upcoming World Cup?
Not gonna lie, I personally think that Senegal will be my dark horses. I know, obviously, as a Morocco fan, I should absolutely hate Senegal, obviously, because cheating in the final. But I think, obviously, with Sadio Mane, Nicholas Jackson, and Habib Diarra at Sunderland, I think that's quite a good strike force. Obviously, on 31st of May, America did beat Senegal 3-2, but Sadio Mane did score the only 2 goals that Senegal did score, and I think that they will become quite a lot more consistent in the World Cup. But they don't have a very difficult group because they've got Saudi Arabia and Norway, who I think they'll probably get 4 points off, beat Saudi and draw against Norway. And I think they'll lose against France because France they just lost in the final in 2022. And I think Senegal will get to the quarter final because I think they have got quite a good squad still.
Yeah, I mean, as a Moroccan, you should hate Senegal. They obviously beat you in the AFCON final, and Brahim Diaz was incredibly stupid. But yeah, I think that's another good shout. When we last played Senegal, they beat England 4-1. It was one of Thomas Tuchel's first games. They looked really, really impressive then. And they could carry this on. Liam, who are your dark horses for this World Cup?
Well, mine's a bit of a one that's been whirling around a little bit. It's not really an unpopular opinion, but I do think USA will make a good run, especially on home turf. I know Harry said they probably won't, but I'm going to have to disagree with him here. I think they've got a really good manager in Pochettino, which allows him to work well with his side. And he's got good players like Tyler Adams, Pulisic, Anthony Robertson and Fulham, especially scoring that goal the other day against Germany. That was a cracking goal, I have to say. Credit to him there. It was a really nice finish. But I feel like they've got a lot of players that are hard to handle for defences, and being on home turf is definitely an advantage. So I could see them doing well. Maybe get round of 16 quarters, but I feel like they'll go on a good run. They'll definitely go on a good run. And maybe I think they'll top the group ahead of Australia, much to my despite, because I want Irankunda to top the group with Australia. But no, I definitely think they'll go on a good run. I'm going to go they'll get quarterfinals.
Yeah, again, another good shout. Harry, who are your dark horses for the upcoming World Cup?
Well, I'm just going to go with one, and my dark horse is going to be Ghana. And I'm saying this in particular as I will be watching England play against Ghana in Boston, and I'm absolutely excited for it. But I'm going to be in the Ghanaian section, so I'll be able to get some opinions from their fans as well. But they've just got such a talented squad up front. They've got Semenyo, Thomas Asante, Jordan Ayew, Fatawu. They've got such a threat up there that I believe that they could cause harm, especially against England. And I think it'll be a very big 3 points if England manage to pull it off against that talented Ghanaian side. And I could see them finishing second in our group and pushing on to the knockouts, possibly to the quarters or even the semi-finals. So, yes, Ghana would be my pick for the dark horse.
Well, I think Ghana are going to be one hell of a team to play. They're going to be very, very difficult. Again, the social media response is that some people think that Ghana are going to do crap. I just completely disagree, because they will run teams ragged. They will run teams into the ground and end up bagging some goals. So, yeah, I think Ghana could do quite well this summer. To the World Cup hot take. Now, this I would say this is a hot take because they're normally up there, right? I think France are going to be finalists at all. I don't see a world where they are. I don't think they've got as much quality as they had at the last World Cup and then Russia 2018, and I think they will really struggle to even get to the semi-final stage. World Cup is such an unforgiving tournament that anything can happen. Any team can get knocked at any point. So yeah, I don't think France chaps. I think this is going to be one of his last World Cups, and it's going to end terribly. Owen, World Cup hot take ahead of this summer's tournament.
So for me, I think that only one European team will be in the semi-finals. I think this World Cup and we saw obviously Morocco the first team outside of Europe and Asia and obviously Commonwealth. Asia made obviously in 2002 with South Korea at their home World Cup. We saw Morocco in Qatar. I think we see two teams from South America, and I think we see a team from Asia make the semi-finals this time around. I think for me, I'll tell you what my final will be later on in the show. But yeah, I think this is going to be a tournament, especially in the heat, and the humidity, that I think it'll be the teams from Asia, the teams from CONMEBOL, even some of the teams from Africa will go on runs as well. I think we'll only see one European side in the semi-finals.
Wow. You know what? You could be right, because non-European teams are going to be more acclimatized to the hotter weather, as you say. So that's certainly a possibility. I think we will see the European team, a European team somewhere in the finals.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's certainly a possibility because of the heat. George, what is your World Cup hot take?
Not gonna lie, I personally think, no bias, I think Morocco will get to the semi-final again, because we have a good squad. I know Harry loves that, but I think Morocco have got a good squad. I think Brahim Diaz should hopefully redeem himself in this, after obviously the absolutely horrific AFCON penalty dink, and hopefully we'll get back. And I think with our defence, obviously Mazraoui, Hakimi, Diop, like all players like that, it's absolute. They're all world class in my opinion. Maybe not Issa Diop and Mazraoui, but like Hakimi, he's been nominated for the Ballon d'Or. Like, I think Morocco will go quite far, as Hakimi's all-round play is absolutely brilliant as well.
Well, as I said, I will be mentioning Morocco later on. I think they're going to do better. What some Moroccan fans are saying, I think they're going to do better. Liam, what is your World Cup hot take?
I've gone really rogue here again. I like going rogue sometimes. I feel like Haiti are going to make it to the knockout stages. I don't know where this has come from, but I've just got that weird feeling that Haiti be one of the surprise teams and get past Brazil and Morocco. Maybe get best third place, or maybe even sneak in second. I don't know, but I feel like they do have a few good players. Like, I've seen Bellegarde from Wolves. I think he's an all right player, and Wilson Isidore, who's now plays for Haiti up top. I think he can make a real impact. And if they beat Scotland early on, which I don't want them to do, obviously, because I like Scotland and a lot of my family is Scottish, but if Haiti beat Scotland, I feel like there's a chance that they get through to the next round, which would be a funny thing to see, because no one probably would have expected it coming into the World Cup. But no, I'm going to go Haiti to get through to the later rounds, not the later round, sorry, through the group stages.
Yeah, I totally agree with you there. I thought my take was going to be more controversial, but yes, well done, Liam. Well done, Liam. A really interesting way to look at things. Harry, what is your World Cup hot take?
My hot take for this tournament is one of the three host nations will make the semi-final. And although I do think that the United States will not have enough, and I think they'll bow out in the round of 16, I could see Mexico playing in Mexico City almost the whole tournament, getting into that semi-final. They're going to have all their fans behind them. Those tickets will not be made up for the neutrals and the other team. There will be Mexico fans there. There's no way that doesn't happen. And they've got real quality up front. Raul Jimenez, Santiago Jimenez. They got loads of players coming from all different European countries. And I believe in this heat, in their climate, at their home, Mexico will get into the semi-finals. One of the three host nations.
Wow, do you know what? I've always rated Mexico. Do I think that they're going to get to the semi-final? But are they going to have a really good crack at this World Cup? Yes, especially if we go through the group and they start, they play us in the round of 16. I think is the way it's seeded. If we top the group, so it'll be really interesting to see how it pans out. Now, moving on to probably the most important category of the evening, England's World Cup finish. Now, for me, unfortunately, and it pains me to say this as an Englishman, I think we're going to get knocked out in the group stages. I think that Croatia will beat us. I think Ghana are going to maybe beat us, and we may sneak a draw against Panama. But I really think that this World Cup is going to be very short for England, and we're not going to get as far as people think, because I do not trust Thomas Tuchel. I don't understand why a German is managing an English side in the World Cup. But they are. It doesn't sit right with me at all. So yeah, I think we're going to go out in the group stages, and we are going to play some really, really turgid football. Owen, where do you think England are going to play?
Well, I actually think I quite like what Tuchel has done by picking a system rather than the players. I think the way he's done it, I think has done really well for England. But for me, I'm gonna go around of 16, purely because in my eyes, as like you said earlier, Mexico in Mexico City at the Azteca, Mexico will have too much, and I think England, I think England will fall there. I hope not. I really hope not. But and I think if it's anyone but Mexico, I think England can get through. But the way it aligns, I think Mexico are going to be the team that beats England. England will bow out in the round of 16 due to that heat and humidity.
George, what do you think? Where are England going to finish this World Cup?
To be fair, Owen has just made a really good point. Obviously, he just said he thinks that England will get knocked out, and one reason is due to the humidity. And taking that into account, I think that does play quite a big part, because obviously it's going to be way too hot to play for them, as obviously England, it's not renowned for being incredibly hot all year round, compared to places like Brazil, Morocco. Like, it's basically always hot all year round, so they're going to be more suited to the environment. And to answer your question, I personally think England will finish in the round of 32 and get knocked out to somebody like France, with Mbappe scoring and Dembele, because France have got a very good squad at the end of the day.
France have got a very, very good squad, yeah. But I don't see a scenario where we actually get to play France. I really don't, and it pains me. It pains me to say it. Liam, they're going to finish this World Cup.
I mean, my heart wants to say we're going to be the winners, because you know what, I feel like we've got a really good squad, probably one of the best squads in the World Cup right now. We've got the talent, we've definitely got the potential, but my head's telling me again, I'm agreeing with Owen, I think round of 16 we're going to stumble. If we play Mexico in Mexico City with the heat, the humidity, they're going to be able to handle it, and they'll have the crowd on their side. It's their fortress, and especially playing in that stadium at altitude, it's not going to be easy. I mean, we've got the players. Harry Kane, if he's on his game, we're absolutely going to do well. I'll get onto the Harry Kane a little bit later, but we've got a lot of good players again. Saka, Rashford, Declan Rice in midfield. I feel like our defence is a little bit the weak link. Maybe Gahey, yes, but John Stones, I'm a bit worried about if he starts there. Maybe Harry Maguire should have gone there instead, didn't come to the World Cup. But Pickford in net is a really solid goalkeeper, so I think we can keep a lot of clean sheets. I do. I think Pickford's, again, one of the best shot stoppers in the Premier League. So I think we've got a good goalkeeper on our hands there. But I'm going to agree with Owen. I'm going to go round to 16. Well, similar to Mexico. I'm going one further than George. Round to 16.
Harry, now, I think I know where this might go, because behind the scenes you seem to be Mr. Optimism. So, Harry, where do you think England are going to finish this World Cup?
keep getting told, the hope that kills you. Don't get carried away. Well, I'm going to get carried away. England, after 60 years of dread and misery, will win the World Cup here in America 2026. You heard it here first. We have got the best England team in generations and the best mould England team in generations. Thomas Tuchel has picked a squad. People may like it, people may not, but he's picked it for his system, not based on who is the best player per se in each position. And I think in this tournament, Thomas Tuchel, who is a proven winner, will lead this England team to victory. Now, with the Mexico shout, I do agree if we play them in the round of 16, it will be tight. But I don't believe Mexico will win their group. I believe they will come second and South Korea will win their group. So I don't think that will happen. And so I see England winning the World Cup in this final here in MetLife, about an hour away from my house. And it's going to be absolutely electric back home. So yeah, come on, England.
Well, we love the optimism, Harry. We certainly do love the optimism. So now we are going to move on to the player to watch for this tournament. Owen, I'm going to start with you. Who out there is the player to watch out for?
I think for me, this is again being a little bit biased, but I'm going to go with Ben Gannon Doak, or Ben Gannon Doak, I should probably say. I think he, someone I've watched a while. I've watched a lot of Liverpool when I was younger, still do now. And I watched him back when he was in the under-18s and the under-21s, and I really enjoyed him. I just think his end product wasn't as good as it was. Obviously, he came to the first team now out at Bournemouth, and really impressed. And for Scotland, again, it's just been that end product, but he's really looked sharp, especially against Bolivia. Obviously, it's only a pre-tournament friendly, but really looked sharp. And him and Finlay Curtis is another man that I think could have a good tournament, maybe off the bench with Scotland. I think if Scotland are going to have a good tournament, which I think they will get out of the groups. I think they will, for the first time in their history, get out of the groups. And I think if they're going to do that, it's going to be those two. Obviously, everyone will be talking about McTominay, John McGinn, the big ones for Scotland. But I think it might be Ben Gannon Doak, or Ben Gannon Doak, I should say, is the man that could lead Scotland outside of the groups for the first time in the history.
Look, I'm going to be really honest. I don't think Scotland are getting out of the group. As I said, I think Haiti will finish above. The European tournaments isn't something that Scotland are very good in, because they are a crap team anyway, and the added pressure of a European world tournament is just too much for them. So yeah, I don't think Scotland are going to do very well at all. Now, my player to watch out for, again, I've got two that I think is obvious. Another one I think, not a lot of people are talking about. So the obvious one is Akram Hakimi. I think Hakimi is going to have a very, very good tournament this year, and he's going to be a crucial part in getting Morocco to a certain point in this competition, which I will get to later. The other option is for Australia with Mohamed Toure, a very, very talented young striker. I think he has got potential to push Australia quite far in this tournament for Australia's sake. I think we could, in theory, see Australia get to at least the round of 16. I have confidence in them there. George, what do you think? Who's your player to watch out for this World Cup?
Well, I'm going to say a younger player. I'm going to say Ayoub Bouadi from Morocco. He's a central midfielder and he currently plays for Lille. He's 18 years old and his market value is 40 million. He's 6'1", and he's already played 96 games for Lille and he's only 18. Yes, he's not scored any goals for them. He's got 1 assist this season. But in Morocco's friendly against Norway yesterday, he got a 7.0 rating, and he had the most defensive contributions in the whole match with 8. So I think, considering how young he is, I think that he will be rocking that Morocco team if he gets a lot of minutes this World Cup.
I should have expected you to be naming a lot of Morocco players this evening. Certainly no bias there, is there, George? There less happens with Morocco. As I said, I think they can get to a certain point. Very, very good. Liam, who is your player to watch out for the World Cup?
It's got to be Edo Kayembe, hasn't it? No, I'm not. I as much as I'd love to go for Edo Kayembe, I do think he'll do well. I do think he'll have a role to play for Congo, but I have gone for another Australian. Sorry, no, not another Australian. Because Caden said Motoro. I've gone for Cammy Devlin from Hearts. Now, I've watched a lot of Scottish football this season. He plays central midfield, and despite him not scoring many goals, I think he's put a real shift in midfield, whether that's defensively or going forward. He's helped the attack out, and I think he's done pretty well for how Hearts did this season. We were unlucky not to get the league title on the final day because Scottish football's corrupt. Just going to say it here right now, but but no, I think Cammy Devlin's a player to watch out for. I'd love him at Watford at some point, but yeah, I think he's going to shine this World Cup and partner with Irankunda, playing those through balls to Irankunda, and he's going to smash them home. So yeah, I've gone for Cammy Devlin.
Well, look, I just want to briefly say about the Scottish League. It is fairly correct. Hearts were very, very unlucky on that final day. But I think a lot of players going to the World Cup from the Scottish League are getting overlooked. Well done to you, Liam, for picking a Scottish League player out. Because there's a lot of quality in that league. It just gets undermined because every team plays every team so often. It's four times in a season. So yeah, I think more respect needs to be put on Scottish football. And finally, with you, Harry, who do you think is the player to watch this World Cup?
I'm going to be honest with you, lads. I don't think I've watched one Scottish football game in my life. Celtics Rangers about 2 years ago. So I'm not going to pretend like I'm an expert in Scottish football. My player of the tournament, my most underrated, whatever it's called, is going to be Ivan Toney. Ivan Toney is going to be mine, because here is where I think he's going to come into this side. When Harry Kane, I don't believe is going to be able to play a full 90 in this severe heat. And Ivan Toney, I think, is the most like-for-like player in this scenario. And he's been acclimatized to the Saudi Arabian climate. And so in this heat, this monstrosity heat, Ivan Toney will come in and score many clutch goals for this England side, and possibly winning penalties in shootouts as he did last tournament. So yes, Ivan Toney will be my player for this category. Yeah.
By the way, with the Scotland,
that's a really. Well,
I was saying with the what were you saying about the Scotland thing?
well,
I watch Scottish Championship football sometimes. I'm that dedicated to the craft.
And I watch the MLS, so you know. So.
Yeah. Big up, our bro.
Comes with the trade. So the next categories, I'm going to combine them. So, Owen, who's going to be your Golden Boot winner at this World Cup and your player of the tournament?
So, Golden Boot winner, I have a couple. I mean, there's two that I've been sort of tossing and turning towards. One of them is Nico Williams of Spain. I think he's, in a really good tournament back in the Euros, and a really good team at the World Cup. And the other one, going on to what I said earlier, is Darwin Núñez. I think the thing is, this World Cup could be really interesting because if you could see a team absolutely pump, like a big team like Uruguay or Spain or an England, or pump a team like Cape Verde, Haiti, those sort of things, or those sort of teams. Maybe not Haiti, but we're looking at that. And I think it could be with Nunes firing as much as he are, and the teams that he could be facing. You're looking at Cape Verde in the same group as well. I could see and Saudi Arabia, who are a good side. I'm not going to dispute Saudi Arabia, a good side. They beat Argentina at the last World Cup. But I could see Nunes pick up the Golden Boot. And for player of the tournament, it might be a pretty easy choice, but for me, it's Yamal. It's Yamal. I think he's one of the best. I think he's probably the best. Lamine Yamal, sorry, he's probably the best player this ever. I wouldn't be surprised if he's going to be up there with the greats when his career's over, up there with your Messi's, your Ronaldo's, your Pele's. I think he's an absolutely brilliant player, and to do it at this age he is already. He's only 18, yet he's already won a European Championship, and someone who I think could end up being absolutely world class and one of the best in the world of all time.
Well, look, for me, my Golden Boot winner is going to be a Frenchman, Kylian Mbappe. Still one of the best strikers in the world by a long mile. He knows where the goal is. I would say, if we got out of the group stages, I would be saying Harry Kane, but I think Kylian Mbappe is gonna this World Cup. And for player of the tournament, I'm going to agree with you, Owen. Lamine Yamal. At the age of 17, he's just one of the best in the world. So, again, I think he's going to have a fantastic tournament this year and really solidify to the world his already known quality. He's just going to do the ones that need a bit more convincing. He's going to convince them this World Cup, and he's going to prove to be one of the very best this World Cup. George, who is your Golden Boot winner and your player of the tournament?
Not gonna lie, I think Kylian Mbappe will win the Golden Boot because he obviously is such a skillful player, and obviously he scores quite a lot for France and PSG. For Real Madrid, sorry. And I also believe that for player of the tournament, I think it will be another Frenchman in Ousmane Dembele, because obviously he did win the Ballon d'Or, and also I think his dribbling and his all-round game is just top class. So I think Ousmane Dembele will be the player of the tournament, and Kylian Mbappe will win the Golden Boot.
Yeah, again, two really, really nice calls there. Who's going to be the Golden Boot winner and the player of the tournament?
I'll start with player of the tournament first. I've gone with Lamine Yamal. Now, I think it's a bit of an obvious choice. I've not gone different here, but for me, when he started at the Euros, just like 17, 18 years of age, just burst onto the scene and did really, really well. I have to say, did really, really well. I was really impressed by him at the Euros. And then since then, he's continued to shine and develop, and I've been really impressed by him. I think Barcelona's done really well with Barcelona recently. So, yeah, I'm happy that he's going to do well at the World Cup because I like him as a player, but I just hope he doesn't perform against England if we get to that stage. Golden Boot winner, I've gone with many opinions here, and I've gone Harry Kane. I just think that he's a world-class striker. If we're on our game in this tournament, Harry Kane can do really well bagging the goals, and he's going to be key to our successes if we get any closer. I've looked at his stats, only 8 goals across the 2 World Cups, including a hat-trick and a brace in 2018, but he didn't score that many in the last World Cup. But I think this time he's in the perfect form. Obviously, he was at Spurs last time, I think, but now Bayern Munich, he's definitely developing. He's got like the record in quickest Bundesliga goals or something. I know he's just a brilliant striker, and I think he'll be key to our successes. So if we do well this tournament, I'm going to have to give it to Harry Kane. So my player of the tournament is Lamine Yamal and Golden Boot winner Harry Kane.
And finally, with you, Harry, who's going to be the Golden Boot winner, and who's going to be the tournament?
So for my Golden Boot winner, I'm going to 100% agree with Liam here. It's going to be Harry Kane. Scores goals like it's fun. In all competitions this year, he's got 67 goals. And so I can just see him getting even more this World Cup, possibly 8 or 9 more. And it's going to be a fantastic tournament for him and for England, as I said earlier. And for the player of the tournament, it's going to be a close one. But I will have to agree with Lamine Yamal. I can see Spain pushing very, very far in this tournament. And he's just going to show how much quality he has. And maybe one day be one of the best players of all time. And so for me, Lamine Yamal will be my player of the tournament.
Yeah, I think, as I said, Lamine Yamal is going to have one hell of a tournament this year, and a lot of people are going to look at him, and the price that he already has is going to rise rapidly, very, very rapidly. And finally, as we look forward to the World Cup final, Owen, who are going to be the finalists, and who is going to win the FIFA 2026 World Cup?
This might be pretty what a lot of people think, but I think it will be Spain versus Argentina. I think they're two of the big teams in this one. But in my opinion, I think it'll be an Argentina-Uruguay semi-final, and I think Argentina just nick it off Uruguay because I think Uruguay going to semi-finals. That's my opinion. But I think it'll be a Spain-Uruguay final, and I think it will be Spain who wins the tournament. My prediction in the final would be, I think, 3-2 in extra time. I know it's a bit early for that, but I think Spain just looked like a complete side. We saw that against England at the Euros. They just look, they look a class above. Yes, there's been a few hiccups recently. Haven't won the previous two friendlies against Egypt and Iraq. But then again, they're only pre-tournament or friendlies in March and June. They didn't really work towards, and there had no losses in their world qualification campaign. Only draw points. Draw was a draw to Turkey. Drop points anyway, so very much I believe they are going to be this year's winners. They're unlucky not to even win the Nations League last year, losing that on penalties to Portugal. So very much one of the best teams in the world at the moment, and I can see them lifting the World Cup trophy come July.
Yeah, I think Spain have got a massive chance. I think they might just miss out on the World Cup final. Now, George is going to really like me here. I've got Argentina-Morocco final. Morocco are going to win the 2026 Cup. Just putting it out there. Morocco are going to win the whole thing. They got to the semi-finals in Qatar. They were absolutely fantastic all tournament long. Their fans are some of the best in the world nationally. I think Morocco are going to win the World Cup, be in the final, and I am going to predict a 2-1 Morocco win. George, what is the World Cup final going to be, and who is going to win it?
Ken, I absolutely love that, but I actually did put down Argentina versus Morocco actually, but no chance Morocco are winning it. Like, I want us to win. We've got a great squad. No chance we're going to win. I think Argentina will nick it for the second time in 8 years. Well, for the second time in 2 World Cups, but Morocco I don't think we'll ever win it. Like, I would love to see it. Like, I'd happily fly out to Morocco for the fans, just for the final, if we do get there. And if Morocco do win, oh my God, it'll be top class. but realistically, Morocco ain't winning it, and Argentina are going to win the World Cup, sadly.
Yeah, I think Argentina are going to be in that final. But honestly, Morocco just look like a perfect World Cup winning team. They've got perfect balance within the team, and their fans are some of the best in the world, as we saw in Qatar. So I think there's a massive possibility that Morocco win it all this summer. Liam, who is going to be the World Cup finalists? Who is going to win the whole thing?
I've gone for a Brazil-Spain final. I mean, I think I can't put it past Brazil as much as I want to say that they're not going to do very well because João Pedro is not in the squad just because I love him so much, and you can see in the background his shirt's up there just about. But no, I can't put it past Brazil. Unfortunately, I just think they've got so many good players. I think it was a risk taking Neymar, but the rest of the players, they've got really, really good players. Vinicius Junior, Rodrigo. That I just can't put it past them, like doing really well. So I've got them as my finalist at the minute. I might change later on in the tournament when we start the tournament, see how they do get on to start with. But I've gone a Brazil-Spain final with Brazil to win it in the end and claim another World Cup.
Wow. I wasn't expecting to hear a Brazil win today. But fair play to you. And Harry, we heard your winners earlier, but who are we going to have to face in the final?
It will be a repeat of the Euros final from 2024. It'll be England-Spain. And I could see the game panning out the opposite to our Euro final against Italy. Spain will grab an early goal from Yamal. We'll grab a goal in the 60th minute from Harry Kane, and it will go to penalties. And Ivan Toney, my most the underrated player of the tournament for me, will score the winning penalty and win it for England after 60 years of hurt in a penalty shootout. So yeah, England World Cup champs against Spain in the final.
I do think, by the way, that
Brilliant stuff.
if England ever win, sorry, Caden. I do think if we do get to a World Cup or win a Euros, it will be penalties. It'll be like the ultimate class remover. I think that's just my opinion, anyway.
I don't like penalty shootouts with England. They're too stressful, especially all the Euro suffering that we had. Well, that comes to the end of the World Cup predictions live stream. Thanks to everyone who has joined us this evening. But before we go, I just want to say the 28th of June will be massive for the Hornet Talk. So make sure you come down to the Peacock Pub on the 28th of June from 12 p.m. until 7 p.m. in St Albans at the Peacock Pub for the Hornet Talk podcast sponsorship launch event. We've got so much for all ages. Families are welcome. There will be alcohol to keep the adults happy, and we will be with you all day long. So make sure to join us on the 28th of June in St Albans Peacock Pub for all of that, and stay tuned on Thursday as we do the first watch along of this World Cup. Opening day, Mexico versus South Africa. We will be live at 7:45 p.m. on Thursday, ready for an kickoff. It's us at the Hornet Talk, but overall for every country taking part. Thanks to everyone who has joined. Thanks to everyone who has commented. And we will see you on Thursday. Let's have it.